Yo, YouTube.
Welcome back to another TC Twosome video.
Yeah, welcome back to another tips and tricks video, I guess is what we're gonna call it. Taylor, what we got today?
Today we're gonna show you our how to practice wedge routine, just how we really try to fine tune all of our distances, what's easiest for us.
By the title of the video, you can see we're gonna kind of take you how to build your own wedge system. So Taylor and I have a pretty similar one. I think hers is a clock and mine's more of like where I take the club back. But hopefully you guys can take some tidbits and tips from the way we practice. We are here at the Home Country Club. We're out in a fairway, going to be hitting to a green. Don't worry, we'll be fixing all the pitch marks. But we'll kind of show you how we practice different yardages, different clubs, and we'll throw some tips and tricks in between some shots.
Yeah, and remember, we are not PGA teaching professionals, so
hopefully you guys can take some tips here or there. Let us know what your feels are. We're gonna head to the number one fairway. Gonna be hitting, I think, probably like 50, 60, 70, 80. What you think? And then we'll throw some tips in there. So let's head to the fairway, hit some wedges. So we had to move. We were on one, too many people, so we're back on the back nine. Hopefully out of everybody's way. So Taylor, where are we at?
So we are at 40 yards. This is how I like to set my own baseline. For me, 40-yard shot is about what I feel like is a little less than waist high to waist high. Just a big chip in a sense. I know my swing probably ends up going past that since my feel is not aligned with the reality of my swing. But that's really what I like to focus on. So right here, we're 43 yards away from the pin.
When Taylor and I head out to the course to practice wedges, we try to hit towards pins, but really if you don't have oh my gosh, she almost made that.
It was not a good shot, nor was it 40 yards, but
she almost made that. But what I was saying is we'll start at around 40 to 50 yards and go backwards from there. We try to practice the distances that we have a lot on the course. So really this is probably one of the harder wedge distances, 40 yards. So having a feel here is very important. Like Taylor said, her feel for 40 yards, that's a good one there, is about waist high to waist high for her. If you have a clock system or a feeling where you're taking the club back is very good to happen. But if you don't have a fairway to practice to, head out to the range, use a rangefinder, be that guy. Laser something that's around the yardage that you're trying to practice, because this is where the scoring comes in, is hitting all of your wedge shots.
And when we practice these wedge shots, we're not focusing on trying to hit it as close as we can. We're trying to focus on landing it at that yardage. That way, when we go to the course, we know how far we can carry each of our wedge shots and with our swing feels. So we're not trying to just hit it close. We're trying to land it at the hole, if not, and then just where it ends up is where it ends up.
That's good to know, because really if you have this in your round, right, you're at 43 or 44 yards, you're probably going to want to hit it about 35 depending on the greens of the course that you're playing at. But really Taylor's trying to land these as close to the pin as possible, because that is what we...
And clearly I need work on my 40-yard shot.
Taylor was saying she tries to land it at the hole. I'm a little bit different. So if I'm trying to hit my 40-yard shot, I'm going to go back to probably about 45 to 46, just because that's my feedback, is how close I'm hitting it to the hole. So really, if you have a little bit of variance when you land at 35, you're still going to have a decent look at a putt. So if I'm trying to hit this 40-yard shot here, I'm kind of the same. I take it waist high to waist high, similar to Taylor. But I think one thing that's very important with wedges, and where people struggle with inside of a full shot, is because they decelerate a little bit. So always try to keep the speed up. So hitting a 40-yard shot waist high to waist high, and like I'm hitting full speed shot.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a very common mistake that people make, is just not fully trusting it and committing to it, thinking that you will end up blowing it by. So not decelerating is a very important thing to focus on. It's okay, I scold a couple.
And that's when everyone clicks off the video.
That's a good one.
It's a little long, but that's why you come out here and practice, because I'm probably taking it back a little further, so I'm just trying to dial in my yardages, just because every day is different, and it's always good to have a feel for when you lay up to a certain yardage, like on a par 5. If you have a favorite wedge yardage, you know exactly how far to take the club back on your system to hit it that far and give yourself a good look.
That was a great shot. I did forget to zoom in on that, of course.
That was the best one. Probably didn't score it. Two out of 5 were good, but y'all get the gist. What yardage do you want to go to next?
You want to go to 50?
Let's do it. So Taylor, before you hit 50-yard shots, how did you go about building your wedge system? Like, what'd you start with?
How I started my wedge system was, like I said in the 40-yard shots, I try to imagine that my hands are a little bit less than what you'd say 9 or 3 o'clock is, and then each 10-yard increment, I try to feel it a little bit further back. So 40, this is my feel. 50 is probably right here, 60, and then 70, I have to really just get after it a lot more. But I really just try to imagine what I would do for the 40-yard shot and then just add a little bit of swing for each 10-yard increment.
Gotcha. So not really a clock system. You go more based off of like your feel with your arms.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So some people like like the arms on the clock thing, but it's really very similar. And the only way to dial it in is to go out to the course, go out to the range, and find out how far you hit it when you're hitting like a full speed shot. So Taylor's going probably a little bit past, waist high here, but really grinding it, repetitive reps is the way to go when it comes to wedges. Like if you don't have a green to hit at, if you're just hitting in a fairway or at the, let's say a fairway, and you want to range finder the tree that you're hitting it at, that's a decent thing too. But knowing how something's going to react to the green it's all feel.
So these 3, they're not next to the hole, but I landed them right at the hole pin high, so pretty happy with these.
Absolutely.
So far. I jinxed it. I'm never talking to the camera again.
But this is how you come and find out, right? Maybe she didn't take the club back as far as she did on the first 2 that were really good. It looks like that is where she did on the first 2, and that landed right at her 50-yard spot. So really well done. For the sake of time, I've come back to what I would consider my favorite wedge yardage. We are at around 75 yards, so really 68 to 70 would be my landing spot here. Anytime I get this yardage, I feel extremely confident. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite wedge yardage is. What's yours, Taylor?
55.
As I was saying, we've come back to a little bit further. If we were to continue our wedge practice, we're probably going to go 50, 60, 70, 80, and then get up into probably what would be like your 54 or a gap wedge. But for sake of time, we come back here. And this, for me, is just a 3/4 58. My lob wedge, 3/4 to 3/4, really moving through it, and kind of show you what that looks like. That's why it's my favorite yardage. So I'm the same as Taylor. I try to take the club back to where I think, and I take it back the same way, just so I focus on really moving through the ball. Pretty pleased with those 3. So before I hit the next 3, it sounds kind of corny, but find your favorite wedge yardage, because like if I'm on a par 5 and I'm out of position but I can advance it a little bit, I'm going to try to give myself anywhere from 70 to 90 yards because it is just a 3/4 58. So find your favorite wedge yardage if you don't have it.
Look at them new shoes.
I thought I was going to jinx myself like Taylor did and come to my favorite wedge yardage and just skull everyone over the green, but pretty pleased with all of these. Hopefully you guys are able to take the little bits of information and kind of build them into your wedge system.
Yeah, hopefully you found this useful. Like we said, we are not teaching professionals, certainly not by my 40-yard shot, so if it doesn't work for you, we're sorry.
Hopefully you gained a little bit from this video. Building a wedge system is very important and practicing it. So that's how we practice our wedges. We go in increments of 10 and kind of feel it out from there. Give ourselves yardages on, you know, in our practice set where we're gonna have a lot in our rounds of golf. So let us know how you practice your wedges, and if you're gonna give this a try, let us know.
Yeah, and we do have some exciting videos that will be coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. We are headed to Branson, Missouri, staying at Big Cedar Lodge. Going to be playing all of the awesome courses there: Paynes Valley, Ozarks National, Buffalo Ridge.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Let us know if there's anything you want to specifically see.
Be on the lookout for the new videos, guys. Like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you're not, welcome back. Really hope you enjoyed the latest tips video, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching.
Peace.